Welcome everybody to the pre-race press conference here at Ironman Raceway. Now this is take 2 on this, my first set of interviews. The computer crashed and we are now re-recording the intro and my first 3 riders. So first up we've got Max Lindquist. Max, you walked the track here at Ironman today. You saw the changes that were made. What are your thoughts on the track this year compared to last year?
Yeah, as we talked earlier, it's cool to see it different. It's always nice to come here and get a change, not see the same old. So, little bit of a faster pace change in my opinion. Lots of straightaways and just looked like to be a very smooth, fast track today. Hoping that changes a little bit for tomorrow, but excited to get on something new again and just I'll be curious to see what our lap times look like. It seemed like shorter laps today, so I'll be interested in how many laps that makes us run tomorrow and what the track will turn out to be because that could definitely change up some racing if you add in a few more laps throughout the day. What that could do late in the moto for you.
Yeah, and I guess a thing with that too, do you think that would affect you mentally by just if you, I don't know how many riders are counting laps at the pro level where it's a timed race?
You're really not, but I feel as it could be helpful if you're in the position of trying to catch someone late in a race where, depending how that time falls, you might get that 3 laps rather than just 2 laps at the end of the race. They might hold that +2 card. You might miss it by 10 or 15 seconds. And it just gets to where I feel for the mental side of things, the more times you do something, the better chance you have of making a mistake. Where if you're pressuring someone and you have to run 15, 16 laps rather than 13 or 14, it might push someone into making that mistake later in the race. So depending where you are in position-wise or at in the race, it could be helpful or it could hurt you. So just something to keep in the back of the mind as the day goes, basically.
Yeah. Now let's go back to Lake Sugar Tree. You ended the day with a 5th place finish, and right behind Mason Jackson, who got another 4th place finish. Going back to that race, with you finishing right behind Mason, who is in his sophomore season, what are we thinking of doing this weekend to get back ahead of him and strive forward to where you'd like to be?
Yeah, don't ever really worry too much about one rider. Obviously, me and him are close in the points right now, but it's so early in the year. Really just big thing is just to keep focusing on myself and to keep trying to just improve every weekend. We've been slowly chipping away back into the top 5 every weekend, and that's obviously the goal. Is I was on the podium here last year and really want to be there again this year. So just gonna focus on the starts. As we've all said, it's really start dependent. Need to get up front and be running with those guys. And just for me, I've struggled on the qualifying side of things, getting comfy with the machine, and just really going to work on trying to get everything dialed in early in the day so we're not thinking and more just riding rather than worrying about the machine later in the day.
Yeah, for sure. And like you said, you and Mason are in a pretty tight point battle right now. There's 1 point between you two. So obviously every finish counts when it comes to that. And, you've had some good years. You've had, a not so good year.
Yep.
But obviously you're trying to move forward, and what's going to be that next step for you to pull away from that 1 point difference and start working your way forward?
There's a lot of things that I feel you could say are going to get you to that next step, but at the end of the day, I just have to go out there and perform. Mostly comes down to just executing good starts and then riding with confidence and knowing that you gotta be willing to push late in the motos, and that's when you're going to be able to make those last-minute passes. Like Lake Sugar Tree, Moto 2, I ran those guys down, but just couldn't make it happen late in the race, and going to need to be able to find a little bit more speed and maybe even just be willing to push a little harder than I have been.
Oh, absolutely. Well, thank you, Max, for taking your time and sitting down with me.
Yeah, not a problem. Always fun to be here.
All right, Nick Janusa, thanks for sitting down here with me. Now, last year, unfortunately, you got injured at this track, so you did qualifying here, but you didn't get to race. We'll circle back on that, but you saw the track today. You saw the changes that were made. What are your thoughts on this track compared to Ironman of previous years?
Yeah, so it looks like coming off the track walk that day made quite a few changes, and I think change is a really good thing to have. The Godzilla, the way it is right this second, if you jumped it the way it was, you're going over the fence. So it looks like we're going to the top, making a sharp turn and coming right back down. And they changed up the couple turns before the finish line. So, again, I like change. It's good. It's not crazy different, but a little bit of spice up year to year. Why not? I like it. It's cool.
Awesome. And, we just talked a little bit, but 2024, you did have a mishap here, ended up in an injury. Do you want to kind of circle back and kind of bring us through what happened that day?
Yeah, at first, I feel like I was a little bit quick to blame the track just for the way they watered it. And, the more I thought about it, the more I got to take full responsibility, and that was my own mistake. As a pro rider, I should be able to, see the water on the track, know that the traction's going to be different. And whether I brain farted or misjudged it, I just went a little far off the finish line, jump here in qualifying, and took probably the hardest hit that I've had in my entire life. Stayed on the quad. I don't know, thinking back really what I could have done differently. In that, I don't want to say crash, I didn't come off, but we'll call it a crash. In that crash, I broke my wrist, my radius bone, and I tore my UCL, which is basically the part that goes from your pinky straight down, and that in itself has been really difficult to overcome. Just being my fingers don't really work the same. I don't wish that injury upon anyone. I know Wesley Wolf's talked about it a little bit when he had an injury back years ago. When your hand doesn't work the same, especially on your right hand, coming back from something like that is very tricky, and it takes time. So I'm really happy with the progress that I've made since a year ago from today, and I'm definitely looking for redemption on that whole situation, and I would love to make it to Moto 1 this year here, because I didn't get to last year, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I think we all are hoping that you at least make it to the first moto, and I think we're all hoping that you make it to both motos and get out of here safely. But you've never really talked much about that. End of last year when you came back, and beginning of this year, with your hand kind of being affected from that, would that possibly play kind of a part in your slower start to this season as well?
Yeah, if you think about it, I only came back for 2 races last year, and I wasn't really that ready for those 2. I came back because I felt ready, but I don't really think I was at the same time, but I did it to do it. I don't like to be a person of excuses, but I'd be lying if as I said it didn't affect me. And I think it's very tricky to come back from. I think it feels sometimes a little bit weak or fragile. And certain hits you look at a little bit differently of just, hey, I don't want to really take that hit or over jump that or case that. It's not that I can't, you just got to pay attention to it a lot more. Tricky to say if it's affected my result. It probably has. I don't want to just completely blame that, but it's got to be a pretty significant factor.
It takes a little bit of adaptation when something like that
my hand
happens.
doesn't work the same.
Right.
And it's your right, or call it your right wrist, but all your ligaments that you have in there, everything attaches. So your right hand is your throttle and front brake, which are, everything on a quad. And the two have to work together. And when they don't, it just... They do. It's different. When you learn it one way for 20 years, you obviously know your capability of a person. You don't even think about this stuff. But when it changes, you have to relearn it, and it's just different, and it feels physically different and doesn't work the same. So it's come a very long way. It's just different. That's it.
All right. Well, great. Well, thank you for your time, Nick.
You got it. Thank you.
Jeffrey Rastrelli, you saw the track here today. You saw the changes that were done. With comparing it to track of previous years, what are your thoughts on Ironman 2025?
I think it's obviously a little bit shorter. With how the track was today when I watched practice, it seemed pretty dominant. Pretty dominant one line track, but it doesn't mean that we can't open it up tomorrow. We tend to take a little different lines than the amateurs anyways, and able to make some lines that maybe they don't think are fast work. So I think that'll hopefully transpire tomorrow. Hopefully we can open up the track a little bit. It was a little wet this morning, so I think that made it where everybody was funneling in one line, and then that was just the line everybody took. So hopefully it's a little bit drier tomorrow, and if not, at least get the track to open up. Like I said, it's a little bit shorter, a little less of big hits this year, like in past years. There's always, the Godzilla, of course, is not there, so that's a change. But overall, I think it's good because they change the track. Like that's what we like to see is that some track changes every year or every 2-3 years that we come to an event. It's nice to have a fresh track and a fresh just a fresh track to go out on and not be the same thing and be monotonous every year. It's really a good thing that Ironman does and we do enjoy. So hopefully it races better than what our opinion is at the moment. But I think it's got some potential for sure.
Yeah. Now obviously Godzilla's gone. Are you going to miss that, especially since 2024? You kind of were a big snake hunter here?
Yeah, like I think that before, when it was a double, was what was really cool about it. And I think we first did it in 2016. I think that was really, really awesome and really separated the men from the boys that year. I literally only think the top 4 did it.
Yeah,
I think Chad didn't even do it. I think it was even me and Chad broke his frame on it. He was the first one to try it.
That was probably back in 2023 then.
No, this was 2016. This was
way
back.
Yeah, way back in the day.
Double.
Yeah.
So like that, a lot. Like I like that with Godzilla the most because it really made everybody it was a double.
You landed short.
And then last year, like in the past few years, it's been a tabletop.
Yeah.
Which kind of took the coolness out of it. Like the first couple years were just insane. So,
yeah.
But yeah, Godzilla is awesome. I mean, you're going up a mountain, you don't even know what you're hitting, and you got to hit it dang near wide open. And you can definitely get some air. So that's going to be a change for sure. Which was, I think, a big staple of the past. Well, you say 2024, so 2016 to 24.
I mean,
8
2015 was our first year here too. So
I don't even think I don't know if we did that in 15 or not, but say 8 years of that jump and section was pretty much the same.
Right.
And it's gone now, so that's definitely a change, but it'll be good.
Yeah, and then obviously there's some different split lines here this year that are a little out of the ordinary for what a split line usually is. What do you think? Do you think those advantages of line choice is really going to show up tomorrow?
I think so. And like I said today, unfortunately, there seemed to be a dominant line. I don't know if that was from a little bit of moisture in the morning or, the amateurs tend to stick to one line most of the time. Not one line, but they see that's a little bit better, or if that's the dominant, they won't take anything else to try. So if we did take that other line a little more tomorrow and open it up and work it in, I think it's going to be good. And obviously, it's just how you set up the stuff. I mean, there's a lot of different ways you can go around a racetrack. So I think that we'll find out how the split lanes work tomorrow, and just kind of maybe make adjustments. I'm hoping they're a little bit willing to take in some criticism in the morning. So in qualifying, be like, hey, I think that's really dominant compared to this one, and they can change it just a smidge to make it really close, make good racing. But I think it's going to be a good racetrack. Yeah,
and only time will tell.
Yeah,
see what happens.
For sure.
And now, obviously, we're going to go back to Etchikani. You had a really good start at Etchikani, and then you kind of worked your way back a little bit.
Yep.
Obviously, shows that you've got the speed, you've got all the motivation in that to start really good.
Yep.
Is there something fitness-wise or anything like that you feel like that was at the beginning of the season?
My fitness has not been, I've always kind of struggled with that in my career, and like I said, I don't know exactly what that is. I mean, I work and I'm on do the same training program as Brandon Hogue and Joel Hetrick. I do all these things and do the best of my knowledge of what to eat and stuff. So that's tough. But this year's been a little bit more because of work. This year's sponsorship was really tough for me. Finishing 10th, from being injured the year before, and kind of the sport even being cut a little bit, let alone me finishing 10th. So me having to work this year's been a bit of a tough thing to do, plus ride and train, So that was in between Etchikani and Lake Sugar Tree. I should have put more time towards this, and I didn't, and it showed. But even Etchikani, I think that I could have been better, but I was also pretty dang good. I got 5th overall. I got 5th overall there, 5th overall at Daytona. So I've had a decent start to the year. Really what's putting me back in the points is Decker. The Triple Crown with 3 motos paying points, and that was the worst weekend of racing I've had in a lot of years.
Right.
So LST, if you take out Decker, I went 5.58.
Right.
So really it's
not
that bad of a year
right.
so far. So for me to go out here and even finish the top 5, or it's definitely possible to do a podium at this fitness. My speed, like you said, at Etchikani, I started 7th or 8th, and I went to 2nd. Me and Joel went through the pack. not saying pretty easily, but it was pretty easy. I was like in this like flow state. I was like ready to go, and it was a really good showing. And then kind of just, I got a little tired and a little tight, riding that hard in the beginning. I should have kind of maybe toned it down a bit, like we were saying earlier, and kind of just work into the pace a bit. I think right now it's the first few laps I can really push, not too hard, but a little harder than I maybe should. And it kind of, transpires into me not finishing the race as strong. So I need to get a good start, not have to work so hard in the beginning, and I think that'll make me be able to finish the race a lot better.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, hopefully it all works out for you, and I know you've done a little bit more in between these last 2 rounds.
Yeah, I did a little more training off the bike and on the bike, so that was definitely a plus. Like off the bike was critical. That's very critical to what we do, so you can ride as much as you want, but you got to put in some time in those certain heart rate zones. So that's what I did. Put a lot more work in, and did a little bit of different stuff as well with some like strength training and stuff too. So did all I could without depleting myself completely to come here, kind of shot out. And I kind of did what I could to come here as fresh as I could too. So hell, man, just gotta see what we got to do. See what we got tomorrow. Go out there, have fun. If I have fun, man, I do really well. So I'm pretty positive the past few days. It's been a good couple of days. It's been easy and nice and not stressful. So hopefully I wake up tomorrow and have that same feeling, and that just rolls into good finishes for me.
Great. Well, best of luck to you, and thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
All right, we've got Chad Wienen, Joel Hetrick, and Bryce Ford here. Bryce, we'll start with you because you got the mic. You're in the hot seat. There's some track changes here at Ironman. What are your thoughts on these changes?
Honestly, I haven't seen the track, so I don't know anything about that, but I've seen some videos of it. It looks like they took out Godzilla, which is kind of unfortunate, but I'm always excited to come to this track, honestly. It's high speed. It really flows well, and it's a big name track, and if we can go to big name tracks like this, like I said last podcast, Ironman, Redbud, Unadilla, any of those big name tracks I love coming to. They do GNCC here. They do motocross here. They do Motocross of Nations this year. So it's cool to come here. I hit a big line last year of 5 in the rhythm section, which you don't get to hit every day. It's not ideal. I don't want to hit it every lap, but it was something that was fun, kept the race fun for me. So, yeah, I'm always excited to come here. Track changes, I'm sure they're, it sucks they took out Godzilla, but I'm sure the rest of the track is really good. And, it's always a great time coming here, and I'm excited.
Absolutely. Now, back to you, Bryce. We're not done. So we talked last round about your day at Lake Sugar Tree, what your thoughts were and everything else. But we did not talk about how were your feelings. You're used to losing to Joel at this point, and you're working on that. Now, at Lake Sugar Tree in the second moto, Chad snuck around you too. How did that make you feel?
Yeah, so it's definitely frustrating from my standpoint. I beat Chad in the Nations race a couple years ago, and that's kind of really boosted me mentally. It made me feel, like my riding's finally showing at the racetrack. Obviously, we all know he's an 8-time champion. The guy's, the fastest guy to ever ride a quad, along with Joel. Like, those two are the two best. So it was a little frustrating because I've beat him all this year. He didn't race last year. I feel like I've continued to build momentum, and just to lose, it's kind of a slap in the face. But like I said, I respect both of them so much, and it's cool, to race these two guys. So I'm grateful for that. But yeah, I need to be better. I'm not looking forward to doing that this weekend. I'm looking forward to get some good starts and kind of dig the whole time. The track will be a little bit wider. This track, there's 2 lines. If there's not 2 lines, there's a wide turn somewhere. And that's kind of ATV motocross to me. 5 years ago we had 2-line wide tracks every race, and now it's here and there, but we're at a wide track, and I'm ready to see what I got.
Yeah. And do you think that we just heard from another pro that said that the starts this year seem to be one of the most important things when it comes to the moto? Do you agree with that, or is there another part of the race that you think is more important than the whole shot?
I mean, I agree. The starts have always kind of been important since I've been in pro class. If you let these two guys get out front, I think if you look back at E-score from the last 5 years, you kind of know what's going to happen. They're going to run away with the race. So the starts have always been important, and that's kind of if you ever listen to me talk on the podium or on these podcasts, I'm like starts. And at Chicani, I got terrible starts and just, didn't come on fast enough, which it's on me. And then Lake Sugar Tree, I got good starts, and I, kind of played around with the position I was in. Didn't really do too well there, but yeah, the starts are important. Like I said, I'm excited to come to a track where I feel, the starts are really important, but there's also places to pass, and I feel this track is gonna, really even it out. There's a lot of things that are good for this track.
Absolutely. Now, are you gonna come for Joel this weekend? You're gonna end this
that's
streak?
always the goal. Everybody knows this guy's insanely fast. I don't plan on, Thursday like today. Or Friday now it is. I don't come here like I want to get second. I always want to win. Does that always go to plan? No, but that's our goal. Mark does so much work. My family puts everything into it. They give me an amazing opportunity. My mechanic, Tyler, stays with me all the time. I have so many people that are giving up so much. So it's never the plan to get second. But like I said, I'm grateful to race these two guys and really, be able to share the track with two legends.
Awesome. Thank you, Bryce. Now, Joel Hetrick, again, we got some new changes to the track this year. You walked the track. What were your thoughts on it?
All the changes to me looked really cool. I didn't end up going over to Godzilla, but I could kind of see it from where we're at right here. It looks just like you go up, make a right-hander, come back down, easy as that. And then right after it, there's a little bit different. There's two singles now into the left-hander instead of one. Different. It's a whole different layout right there. But the coolest thing I've seen today is on the far side of the track to us right here. You got the 5 jump that Bryce was doing last year, which was insane. And then you got this other little jump now. It's the single that was there, but it's got like a landing at the end. Could possibly be a triple into a right-hander that's got a cool split line. Nice set of rollers. That's a really cool section. Like, if that line does come about tomorrow, someone hits it, that'll be probably the coolest thing a quad has done in a while, I think. It's a real technical line. If you do 5 and then 3, if you can manage to do the quad and then 3, like it's a tricky little line right there. So it's just, that's going to be cool. That'll be cool for us to race, cool for us to ride. There was a jump today that one of the kids I rode with this winter said he jumped into the rollers. He said it was really fun. So I'm just looking forward to that. As far as we always come here, it's a great track, but having those obstacles that are really hard is going to be very fun for us.
Absolutely. And obviously your streak is still going. You're still undefeated. Is there any pressure on that? At this point, you just kind of not even thinking about it?
Only when someone like you asked me that. But
you're welcome.
No, it's all right. It's there's really no pressure just because I'm not here to continue a streak. That's just where I'm at. I'm here to race my best every weekend and have fun. And like I just said, when we got a track like this, we're gonna have fun as long as we're staying healthy and keeping on all fours, which is, that's the main thing always. But I obviously come here to win too. I train hard all winter, I train hard all summer, and I go out there and let my riding go to work, and the results come as they have been, and I'm grateful for that. I got a great team behind me that has allowed me to ride as much as I can, swap parts out when I need, swap motors out. I'm just constantly being able to do what I want to do, and I think that's really helped me get where I'm at right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you, Joel.
Yep.
And Chad, again, we saw the track. There's some changes. You didn't get to ride here last year, but from what you remember of years past compared to this year, what do you think about these track changes?
Yeah, it was interesting last year. I just came to watch, but how hard pack and firm it got last year compared to even this year. It seems like there's some more moisture in the track, so it's a little more spongy. And I like it when it gets like that. The track gets more unpredictable, and you got to be on your toes. And the changes that they made, Godzilla was a really rough landing up there, but the jump down the hill was probably one of my favorites that we did. And to see that go, that's a bummer. The skyscraper jump, that's still there. Different kind of layout, through, after the whole shot. That's different for me. I wasn't here last year for that, but the different stuff going underneath the covered bridge, and after that section, definitely looks it could be challenging in a way, like kind of like Joel said, and I seem like, you know, to have that option is always pretty cool, because usually it's pretty cut and dry like what we can do, and to have that option is going to be fun. And then the rollers after that, it'll be I don't know how much that's going to separate, because you have quite a bit of speed going into them, so kind of see how that goes. And I'm just happy to be back in the Midwest, like back home this past couple weeks, and it's been good, and looking forward to line up on the gate.
Yeah, absolutely. And now, last round, you were back on the podium, so you got 2 podiums, and then you've got one weekend that, you know, you're back in 6th, kind of subpar. However, when you're looking at the points breakdown currently, you are tied for 3rd with Brandon Hogue. Mm-hmm. Being that you have had the podium last round and you are sitting in that position, is that going to kind of bring something up and give you a little more push to stay on the podium and secure that spot?
Yeah, definitely. Like, I mean, even like last event, the last moto, was a good shot in the arm, like getting a good start and riding some laps out front, and you know,
beating Bryce in a moto.
Yeah, and just having a good battle with Bryce, and you know, just it's been a good like stepping stone for me, like just making those steps, you know, back that I want to be making, and you know, obviously I want to do them sooner than that, but I'm being patient, you know, with my riding and making sure everything comes back the way that it should. And you know, riding around these guys is even though I was out for a year, it feels like it was longer than that, being lined up against the gate, like knowing what they're gonna do when they're doing it, and you know, just knowing where you are. And yeah, like it's definitely a push. I'm excited to line up back on the gate and try to keep that progression.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, with that success, are we going to start seeing the Chad from the past that we know that was always a podium threat and a championship threat? You know, we spoke last race, and your injury kind of set you back a little bit. You know, are we starting to forget about that a little bit now that we're getting the success?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. It's just, it takes time, kind of called that like ring rust, you know, being out. But
you're from the Midwest too. You're in the rust belt.
Yeah,
baby.
You can rust up. But yeah, I think that the biggest thing for me is like I'm finding out that a lot of these guys have like such good speed for even qualifying, even like the first several laps in the moto. If I can push along and get to that second half of the race, that's when I can really do my work. And I don't know if my speed will ever come back to where, you know, to ride like a Joel Hetrick's pace, you know, lap 1 and lap 2, or even like with Bryce, these guys, they bring such intensity those first couple laps. I don't know if I'll be able to do that, but I'm going to sure as heck try to keep pushing myself to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you, Chad.
Yep, thanks.
All right, we are here with Jaden Launderville, Adam Ulrich, and Wesley Wolf, kind of my 3 little geek squad, we're going to call it.
I don't think we're that smart, but
Wesley, we're going to start with you. Take that microphone. Oh, there you go, Adam.
Oh,
good
we
job.
weren't allowed to touch it.
You can touch it this
All
time.
right.
Did you walk the track this weekend?
No, I totally forget and lose track of time, but I was watching it today. I was studying some of the pro sport guys out there and stuff, and watching the minis and seeing what bumps the minis avoid and seeing what bumps the pro sport guys jump. You know, you kind of study what each rider does, and I learn a little bit from everyone.
Right on. Wesley, what flavor Ghost do you have for tomorrow?
I got 3 to pick from, actually. I got a Swedish Fish. I got a black cherry. Is that what you got me?
Are you going to go to that right away?
I don't know. And then I got a blue Raz Sour Patch Kid. I
didn't know you were going to admit who bought you your energy drinks this weekend.
Oh, shout out to Leon for the sponsorship. 4-Wheel Frenzy podcast.
Hey, I got to get you somehow.
But no, we'll probably end up going with the Swedish Fish, probably.
Right on, right on. Now, Wesley, first of all, we're going to talk about Lake Sugar Tree. We're going to talk about this photo that went online of you and the other tall guy at the other end of the table. What happened?
I mean, can we talk about, though, as soon as I got done and I came up to you, I'm like, yo, like, you guys good? Like, I didn't have your race over or anything. And you're like, what do you mean? I'm like, what? I'm like, dude, me and JJ, like, came together midair, wailed each other as soon as we landed, and he's, like, on my Nerf bar. I'm just like, oh, shit. And I'm just like, somehow I don't even know. We all acted like nothing happened, but then the picture proved it. I'm like, I told you.
Race carried on. I mean, you got to do what you got to do. Rubbin's racing, and we just talked about this in the last press conference too, what it's like to race with you, and then you two have to prove a point here.
I mean, I've been telling everyone, I mean, pro class lap 1 and 2 is like, it's a war zone out there. Like, I was watching Pro-Am, and Damian Hubert, you know, he got the short end of the stick. I think Moto 1 was it? He did the 360. And, you know, the kid rips and everything, but he comes up, he's like, oh, did you see that takeout? And I said, I would have hit you twice as hard. And I also wouldn't have waited the 3 or 4 laps that Noah did, man. I'm like, if that bothers you, don't even think about moving up. Because lap 1 in the pro class, I'm repeating myself, but it's a war zone. You're out there for yourself. It's a race, you know, and to be honest, the start in that first lap, and I'll even include lap 2, you know, that's a make or break, you know. If you got that dog in you, you can dig the last 2 or 3 laps, but if you can get out top 5 that first lap, you're pretty set. You know, you'll have 1 or 2 that'll come knock on your door if somebody got a bad start, they're digging through, but I mean, it's a riot. It's I don't know how to describe it. It's a riot. It's a war zone. It's beating and banging, you know. But as long as everyone comes out safe, you know, that's all I'm really worried about. There's a difference between Rubbin's racing and a straight T-bone takeout. So just got to have a line there and not cross it.
All right. Now, Lake Sugar Tree, we're going to talk about the results real quick. You finished up in 9th?
I don't know. I can't put 2 motos or a weekend together to save my life.
I know you had a 9th moto finished and a 6th, so put you in the 7th overall.
Yeah,
7th
Moto 1, mediocre start like normal. Chugged my way through 1 or 2 of them. Was hanging out with Chad a little bit, and had this corner I was struggling to get through, and it ended up bobbling in that corner, and I think dropped back to 9th, just stayed there. Lost adrenaline, lost that edge, and just hung out there for the rest of the moto. And then Moto 2, mediocre start once again. Ended up losing like rear brakes on lap 2 or 3, waffled a rotor there, so it was just tacoed after that, and just salvaged I think a 6 with 0 rears, and I pretty much rely on those, so I was definitely a passenger of the struggle bus, but part of it. I made it happen and was able to salvage a 6.
All right. And, you know, obviously you're sitting 7th in points right now. What's that next step? What are you going to do?
The next step is, I don't know, just keep doing my thing, try and find, I don't need to find the speed, I would say. I just need to be able to go that speed without making a bobble. It seems to me that, I'm not going to lie, I don't get to train or do anything, so the speed is, I can grasp that speed, but only for 2 or 3 laps, and then I end up making a bobble here and there. And same thing happened to me at Deckers, was riding 5th or whatever it was, and made a bobble down in a corner, and it just seems to be, just can't really hang on or be that smooth. So maybe just working on smoothness, hitting my lines, hitting my marks, and carrying through to be consistent.
All right. Well, thank you, Wesley.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. Adam, next up, we're going to talk about the track. You know, you walked it. There's changes made this year. What do you think about this track?
Yeah, I like this track. I seem to do pretty good here. It's definitely really hard packed, but yeah, they took out Godzilla. I don't know how I feel about that yet, but yeah, it's going to be some good racing. I think there's some big jumps, obviously, so yeah, I think it'll be good, super fast. So yeah.
Right on. Now, I know you had some bad luck at Lake Sugar Tree, especially on that first moto. What happened?
Honestly, I don't know. It was chaos, and I was just trying to survive, and then I just lost control of my bike. I don't know if my handlebars broke before I crashed or after I crashed, but I just lost control of the bike, and then I went flipping, and then I just my handlebars broke off, so that ended my first moto. And
So your handlebars broke.
yeah, my handlebars broke off. Like that, what was connected to the stem, that one of the bolts broke off.
Guys, I told you it's a fucking war zone out there.
Dude, it was. I think I hit him, and that's what did it.
Tell you, it's bad.
Pro
It was
class is a
bad.
war zone, Wesley.
Yeah, I was bummed. Like, I had a good qualifier too. I felt like I was riding good. I had like a decent start too, and I was behind Wesley, so I was ready to try to go the distance, and yeah, just crashed the first moto.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Now, obviously, that kind of messed up your day entirely in the pro class on Saturday, but then came Sunday in the pro-am class, you kind of redeemed yourself. Is that high from getting a podium in the pro-am class going to transition over to tomorrow in the pro class?
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, honestly, after Saturday, I was so in my head, I didn't know if I could pull off a decent moto. So I just signed up for pro-am because I just wanted to do 2 decent motos. That's all I really cared about. And so I got 2 mid-pack hole shots. Probably could have been more aggressive the first moto. I didn't want to win. I shouldn't say I didn't want to win. I didn't have to win. The point was just to do 2 decent motos to make sure I could still do that, because it's honestly been a while. But yeah, so I did that. I got second. Is it gonna give me more confidence over the 6th place in qualifying? Probably not, but yeah, it was good. I haven't done it in 4 years, so yeah.
Right on.
I think it was good. Yeah.
All right, absolutely. Well, thank you, Adam. Well, Jaden, you walked the track today here at Ironman. You saw the track changes that were made. What do you think about this track that we're racing on tomorrow?
Yeah, walked the track earlier, a little bit ago. Looks pretty sick. There's a few track changes. They took out Godzilla, which this would have been the first year I would have hit it. I was kind of excited for that, but took it out. So it's just a 180 back down the hill now. But yeah, track looks like a lot of fun for tomorrow.
All right. Going back to Lake Sugar Tree, you had decent starts in your motos on Saturday and started moving back. People started passing you towards the end of the moto. What happened there? Is that related to your knee injury that you got going on?
Yeah, so I got decent hole shots, and kind of probably 8 to 10 minutes in, my knee started to hurt pretty bad once again. So yeah, fell back. It was super embarrassing once again. I don't know. I know I can run a little bit more up front than where I finished. So yeah, knee's feeling a little bit better for this weekend. So see how tomorrow goes.
Now, we've had a few riders now talk about how rough Lake Sugar Tree was compared to even Etchikani. Do you feel like this track, since it gets a little more hard packed, doesn't get quite as rough, do you think that you will be able to last the entire moto compared to last round?
Yeah, for sure. This track, super hard packed, a little smoother than Etchikani and Lake Sugar Tree for sure. I've been riding at my place, which is a super dry, slick, hard pack track, and I was able to do 25s and 30s there. So I think I should be able to be okay. I think.
Are you confident in that, or are you just thinking it?
No,
Maybe.
super confident.
All right.
Feel pretty good. So
Well,
yeah.
Awesome. And then obviously you're going to run Pro-Am again this weekend.
Yep.
So hopefully we get a good solid finish in that as well.
For sure.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, thank you for your time, boys. All right, so we've got Zach Decker, Brandon Hogue, and Kevin Saar. Brandon, we're going to start with you because I know we're getting close and you got to go help with Moto Church. But they made some changes here at Ironman. What are your thoughts on the changes compared to previous years?
Yeah, it looks pretty technical. I mean, I know we're all looking at the same stuff out there. So it'll be interesting to see if we're going to be jumping some of the things that we see. And yeah, I wish they wouldn't have touched Godzilla for sure, but part of it. I think the changes probably are overall better. I think it's going to be a shorter lap time, it seems like, from today too. So that'll be interesting. But yeah, I mean, we'll see tomorrow. If someone's going to be jumping something gnarly, then maybe the front 5 or so probably will be.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Brandon, we're coming into this weekend. Last round, you had a very chaotic weekend. Do you want to break that down a little bit? Exactly what happened? And
yeah, I came over. I was battling for a position, and landed a jump, my bike shut off. So I thought I blew up because my temp light was on. So I tried to start it, nothing. And I was just sitting there at that point. I wasn't trying to keep starting it. And then it sounded like when you light fireworks, almost like that fuse going off. Like, it just was crazy. I was in flame from head to toe initially, just from that explosion. And let me tell you, it was hot. I like kind of rolled off the bike. My helmet was like melting a bit to my neck, and my jersey was starting to melt onto my arm and chest. And I ripped that stuff off and then went into the water, and the bike obviously got totaled pretty much. So yeah, it's something you never really I never thought would happen, but moving on from it, I guess.
Yeah. Now, obviously, on the more important aspect of it, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. At first, it was really like a sunburn, more or less, and just some spots on my body still have a little bit of like bubbling skin and stuff. But as far as like mentally and everything, I'm all good for sure.
Okay. And you said that the bike was totaled. Was it a complete loss? Were you able to repair it, or?
No, most of the front end stuff was okay. Like I think I'm using quite a bit of the front end and stuff. So just mainly the rear end of the bike was pretty smashed.
Okay. And I asked Chad before, and I'll ask you again. You know, obviously you both have had a bad weekend now.
Yeah.
You are tied in third place in the points right now. So is that going to give you a little extra drive to, get back up on the podium and, maybe even bypass Bryce and get that second place?
Yeah, I mean, I want to win, really. It's like the podium isn't even on my mind anymore. I know when I'm riding, like some of these days I have, as crazy as it sounds, I do feel like I can compete for a win. So I think I need to get better at starts and then be there for the whole distance too with Joel. Like Lake Sugar Tree, I didn't execute on starts, and I felt like my speed was there. I really did feel like I could do something with him. So it's not Bryce, it's not Chad, it's still Joel. Look, if he's going to go 2 seasons undefeated, I mean, I might have to retire. So if anybody's going to do it, I want to be a guy to at least put a moto in. Maybe I don't, but I at least want to battle this guy. I mean, right now he's making it look easy. So maybe it's not this round, maybe it's one of these rounds, but I do really want to try. That's my main goal.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you for your time.
Yep, thanks.
All right, so Brandon Hogue had to step out to go do Moto Church, so we've got Mason Jackson that has now joined us with Kevin and Zach. But Zach, we'll start with you then. Unfortunately, you didn't get to race here last year, so you didn't get to see what the track was like before that. But going back to previous years when you did get to ride here, the track's changed quite a bit. What are your thoughts on this year's track as compared to previous years?
So I didn't race actually the last 2 years due to injury. So the last time I raced here was 2022, and it was a monsoon. I raced in like straight water, and it was really not a race. So it was kind of crazy. It was like a race of survival, but track looks pretty fun. Another hard pack track. I seem to do better on hard pack tracks for some reason. Godzilla's taken out. I wish that was still there. I think all of us do. But yeah, it looks fun. There's some big jumps. I think I like hitting some jumps. Looks like a fun track. I'm excited to get out there tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Zach. So after Lake Sugar Tree, you ended up with a 10th place overall. A little bit further back than some of the other rounds.
Yep.
What are we going to do this weekend to get back up to where you'd like to be and where you have been?
Yeah. Man, it's just like it's a big mental thing for me right now. Like the last 2 years with injury and stuff, it's honestly been tough. Like just trying to get back in the swing of things and get back to these guys' level. They're extremely fast, and they just put it all out there. So just trying to get back to that. I said the last time, just trying to do better each round, and that's the same goal going forward to this round, just trying to do better than what I did the last round. But yeah, I just feel better this round. I'm in a better mental space. I feel a little less nervous this round. So as long as we can keep feeling like that and keep the nerves down, I think I'm going to do good.
Absolutely. And that was kind of the next question too. You know, you have gotten injured in the last 2 seasons. Now that we are, you know, this is after this weekend, we're at the halfway point of your series or your season. You know, do you feel a lot better about your program and your season because you have, you know, gotten through this far? You've done very well, you know, especially for sitting 2 seasons out.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, results aren't where I want them to be lately, and I know I'm putting a lot of pressure on myself first year back in pro, but I don't know, it's just not really where I expected myself to be, but we're working on that, and yeah, it's just been frustrating the last few races, but like you said, been out for the last 2 years, so just it's a work in progress, just trying to get back there, and yeah, it does feel better getting some races under the belt, but I just need to keep the momentum rolling forward, keep getting better results, and just staying on the bike, and I think it'll come.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Zach.
Yeah.
So Kevin, over to you. You know, you saw this track. You've ridden here the last couple of years as well. You know, compared to the last 2 years you were here, what does the track seem like to you?
Yeah, like these guys said, Godzilla jump is not there anymore. That's the one jump I really liked, and coming down the hill as well. So that's being changed, but overall I really like this track. I think it's my favorite track here. Both 2 years ago and last year I really liked. So I'm really excited to go racing tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. And at Lake Sugar Tree, you had a high, you had a low, you know, you got a whole shot, and you led one of the motos for a while. Unfortunately, though, you did get a flat in that first moto. So, good thing, bad thing, you did end up 12th overall for the weekends. You know, what are you going to do to obviously we got something that can happen. Flat tire can happen to anybody at any time. But what are you going to do differently this weekend so you can get back to where you've been finishing this season?
Yeah, at the last race I had really highs and really lows. I mean, I qualified 5th, which I'm really happy about that. I feel like my speed is pretty good. I have qualified pretty well. And first moto, yeah, I did what I could. I focused on the start. I got the whole shot. I was really, really nervous. I think it's nervous. I've been racing like for my whole career. It's something else to be in front of the fastest guys in the world. So my first lap, I almost led the whole lap, but one corner to go, Price passed me, and then I got the flat tire second lap, so that was it. And the second moto, I don't know, it's the first moto of flat tire, it got a little bit out of me. I wasn't as motivated as I was before, and I just finished with okay ride. So 12th overall is not where I want to be. I would like to be at least top 10. Really would like to be top 5 to 7, somewhere there, and hopefully tomorrow I can be more up there.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, with all that and you leading for a little while, you know, break us down, what was going through your head when you were in front of everybody in that pro class?
Yeah, coming out of the first corner, I just realized, I don't know, it's like, what happened now? Usually I'm not really good at starts. Now I'm got the whole shot. I just try to get this out of my mind, focus on my riding and not doing any dumb mistakes out there. So I just took my lines and rode as well as I could.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Kevin. Now, Mason, you've ridden here for quite a while now. You've seen the track changes. What are your opinions? What do you think about this new track?
Just like the first thing both these guys said, Godzilla's gone. It's not gone, but the jump part of it's gone. So we're just going up and down the hill, which it's still cool, but the jump was one of my favorite things on the whole circuit, going up and down that. So that's gone. Not really happy about that, but the other track change after the tunnel, going underneath the bridge, I think that is for the better. The triple after the 5 looks a little sketchy, but hoping one of us will go for it, and then that'll get all of us going for it. I don't really want to be first. I was kind of hoping
I don't
this
think
guy
you get
over
a
here,
choice.
Joey would be first, but however it works out tomorrow.
Hey, him and Joey been talking about this all day.
Me and Joey were talking about it all day, so hopefully one of us does it.
First thing Joey says to me today, hey, you see the new jump out there? I'm gonna 5 triple.
5 triple. We're gonna see,
all
but
right.
I think the track's a little shorter. It looks not quite a bit shorter, 5-10 seconds shorter. But I think it looks good. I'm excited for tomorrow.
All right, absolutely. Now, Lake Sugar Tree, you got a 4th place coming out of there. Now that is your best finish of the year.
I did have a 4th right before too.
Oh, that's right, you did. So you're sitting on that 4th place spot. You haven't gotten above yet. You know, is that going to bring a little motivation into this weekend? Are you going to get on that podium? Are you going to be able to talk to me tomorrow night, or am I going to ignore you?
I've had quite a few people ask me when the podium's coming, and I'm trying to make it happen, but until those consistent hole shots come in, we're getting there. We're getting closer.
All right. Well, work on that reaction time a little bit.
The reaction time really isn't my issue. It is, like, sometimes it is my issue, but it's mainly the keeping the front wheels down coming out of the gate that is my issue. And then I get the clutch, and then all it takes is a half a tire on you before you're completely cut out of the hole shot, and then that's it. You're passing the entire race. So 2 consistent hole shots, we'll see.
2 consistent hole shots, and in the back of your mind, are you thinking about that 1 point that is keeping you from matching or beating Max Lindquist and taking that top 5 spot in the points?
I think it was 2 or 3 points from Lake Sugar Tree, and I'm only 1 point down now, so it for sure gives me a little motivation getting those consistent starts and staying up there. I got 5th last year. I at least want to get 5th again, hopefully, and shoot for better. That's the goal.
All right. Well, thank you, Mason. All right, I got Joey Norris here, and I've got newcomer Tyler Marlin. We're going to start with you, Joey. You know, you raced here before in the Pro Sport and Pro-Am class last year. They changed the track quite a bit. What do you think about these changes right away?
They look really cool. The 5 triple section, what Mason and them were talking about, that looks like a cool line. Maybe me or Mason will be one of the first 2 to hit it, but I've been waiting my whole life to hit the big hill, Godzilla or whatever it's called, and the year I go pro, they take it out, which not too excited about that, but still get to go up and down it, so just ready to see how it is.
You get to go up and down that roller coaster hill.
Yep.
Awesome. You know, you just said with that line, you know, last year you were the first one to hit. I'm going to call it you quinced it.
Yeah.
You 5'd it, whatever you want to call it. Let's be honest. Are you going to be the first one to try that tomorrow?
I don't know. My dad told me not to do it, but it looks pretty doable again this year, so maybe.
So it's going to be a mind over instinct type deal tomorrow.
Yeah.
All right. Second lap. and that's kind of another thing too is you are someone that hits some of those bigger hits right away. And the other person that used to do that all the time was Thomas Brown.
Yeah.
So are you going to keep that up? You're going to be like the new T Brown and just hit all the big hits?
Maybe. I just more worried about staying healthy this year, first year in pro, trying to learning a lot so far, just trying to stay healthy like I said, and just keep riding. If the big lines are doable, I may do them. If they're not, then I ain't gonna do them.
All right. And you know, rookie season, it's going fairly well for you so far, but you know, are you gonna be like Mason last year? You gonna crack some top 5s before the year's over?
That's my goal. My goal's to do at least top 8 here at this track. I'm pretty good on hard pack. That's what I grew up on my whole life. And just my goal is just to go out there and get a top 8.
All right, absolutely. Well, thank you, Joey. And now Tyler.
Yes, sir.
Making that step up mid-season to the pro class. You know, we'll talk about that in a second, but you know, you've ridden here at Ironman before. You've seen the track changes today. What are your thoughts on this track?
Yeah, this is one of my favorite tracks, honestly. It's I ride a lot of sand at Nick Januse's house for training and stuff, and it's good to get back on the hard pack and the dirt. And like Joey said, he wanted to hit the big jump. You know, I was looking forward to that. I was talking all day about it. I was like, man, I can't wait. And then I get here and they don't have it, but they got a new section, looks sick. You know, the whole shots here are sick. It's all about who's got the gas around the corner here. You know, it could be even, but it's all to the end.
Yeah. And I mean, in your amateur years, you've done gotten a lot of hole shots. You know.
Yeah, I'm on a new machine this year. I switched to Yamaha, which I'm still learning on the hole shots. I was really good on my Honda and getting them dialed. I actually pulled a hole shot here last year, and it was sick. But I'm learning the Yamaha again. I'm a little late to the start. I wanted to start in the beginning of the season, but getting bikes built with work and everything else, just process of training, everything, I didn't want to not be ready. And I feel like I'm more than halfway now and just going to send it and, you know, try to stick with these boys and give it my all and be safe, like Joey said, and make it out in one piece and use it as learning experience. And I raced plenty of these guys in other series and seeing how they ride and, you know, be aware of everyone and enjoy the ride and just give it your all.
Perfect. Now, you kind of just mentioned it, but essentially bikes being ready was kind of the reason why you're now making the jump up.
Yeah, like with work and everything in the off season and with training, I was trying to get, you know, my race bike ready for Daytona and make the switch sooner than later, and I just couldn't quite get it done. So now I got a race bike and a practice bike now to get me developing now, and it's cool, and I'm really pumped the Yamaha switch. One big change was I didn't realize when you switch to a Yamaha, like the LTR front end was so much better than the actual Yamaha. So I had one built for Yamaha, one regular, and dude, it was the worst decision I ever made. I had to switch it right away. And I've been dialed in the past couple weeks and training and just ready to send it now and have fun.
Perfect. Well, thank you, Tyler. And, you know, this has been the pre-race press conference here at Ironman Raceway. Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of good battles. And again, welcome Tyler Marlin to the pro class. And hopefully we see you for many years to come. But make sure to follow along on Four Wheel Frenzy for all the updates, all the press conferences, the post-race podium interviews, the mini-sodes. You know, you can find us on YouTube. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Make sure to follow. Let's get some comments. Let's get some likes. But stay tuned, and we'll talk to the podium tomorrow.